Welcome back to Build Series. I'm your host, Gibson Johns from In the Know, and today we're joined by the cast of what is perhaps Bravo's rowdiest reality show, Summer House. Season 4, which premieres tomorrow, February 5th, promises to bring new housemates, parties, fights, and maybe the most unexpected in-house hookup yet. Please join me in welcoming the cast of Bravo's Summer House.
How we doing?
Wow. I can't believe we're already at season 4 of this show. Lindsay, Kyle, and Carl. Can you believe we're here? I mean,
I still can't believe
you're
it.
the OGs.
I can't believe it. It's pretty crazy. Kyle?
Time flies.
Just fly.
Kyle's like, I can believe it.
So we have Amanda Batula, who's returning. Kind of an OG, kind of not. You appeared in the first season. Paige, this is your second season.
Yes.
Jules Dowd, one of our new cast members. Lindsay Hubbard, an OG. Luke Olbrinson, another new one. Hannah Berner, back for round 2. Kyle Cook and Carl Radke. So, I mean, the trailer looks like it's kind of continue last year's trajectory of being sort of like even more dramatic than some of the earlier years. Talk to me about sort of like the feeling going into this season, because I know it was we filmed last summer. So, how are we feeling? It premieres tomorrow.
I mean, I'm excited. Are you guys excited out there in the audience?
Yeah,
That's what we like to hear. I think all of us, I mean, it's been quite a journey, but I think what's really cool is you get to see kind of the progression of, Kyle and Amanda's relationship. Obviously, season 1, Amanda coming over, then they weren't together, kind of were, had a lot of fun there. But yeah, I think, honestly, you get to see like just a deeper level of our friendships and obviously our relationships. So that's pretty good because it takes some time to build to that. And, 4 years later, it's like, okay, now we're invested.
Yeah, the quality of the fights have gotten more complex because we have more alcohol to drink. No, I'm just kidding. It's more like when I first came with Paige, we didn't really know the history of people. And coming in this season, I feel like we had a lot more opinions because we'd spent all winter with them. And you care a little more. And then you yell a little more when you care more. That's what families do.
But despite that, coming into this summer and this season, I actually was like, it was the most like energetic like season of them all because there wasn't like this awkward tension among the cast, which like plagued season 3 and it plagued season 2, quite frankly. So we came in and, well, particularly I came in with a bang.
Well, I mean, going off that, because I do agree. I've been watching the show since season 1, and last year was the first season that it really felt like you guys had like figured it out. It was part casting, it was part just sort of like, I don't know, how you guys meshed and kind of. Do you guys all feel that? And do you feel like sort of this season picks up where last year left off?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're hitting our stride with this season. And, I would attribute a lot of that to the fact that we're actually friends. And we do hang out in the off season, in the fall, winter, spring. And I think that really helps, continue our bond that we create over the summertime.
Paige and Hannah, you're both back for your second seasons.
Yes.
What changes between your approach to your first season versus your second, and or does anything change? And sort of, do you feel more comfortable now? Sort of,
We hate each other.
Don't look at me.
I feel like coming back this season, we're just a lot closer. Like we fight like sisters, and we're not afraid to say something to the other one. Like if we're really hurt or something, we'll call each other out. And I feel like that's the best part because everyone has a friend like that where you're like, what did you just say to me? And we also, on another level, not only do we live together, but we share a room. So we're like always together.
I mean, like you say in the premiere that, Kyle and Amanda, no disrespect, but like Paige and Hannah
Oh, there's
are the truth.
disrespect.
We are the couple.
You're the couple of the
love
house.
story of Summer House.
Hannah, what about for you, sort of like going into your second season with Paige? And
I think the first season we were together scared. We've never been in a house like that before. I remember the first episode, I was like, I feel like I'm swimming with the sharks. And that was true. But coming in this next season, we had a little more swag about us and a little more confidence. And we're like, we belong with these people. They're our friends. And we're ready to have an amazing summer with the ups and downs and not being afraid to have some ups and downs. I was always afraid of confrontation, and Lindsay taught me that confrontation can be healthy.
that's an important lesson.
You're welcome,
Miss
Hannah.
Hubbard. Jules and Luke, you guys are joining the group this year. Yeah. We spoke on the phone last week, but talk to the audience about sort of your connections to the group and I guess just sort of what was your mindset going into this crazy experience? Because even for Jules, like you hadn't even lived in New York yet. This is your kind of entree into the city.
Yeah, I had just moved to New York, and like I didn't know a lot of people out here. So when Hannah invited me out, I immediately jumped on the opportunity. But it was a crazy summer, and it, definitely wasn't what I expected.
Luke?
She did well, though. She held her own.
Kyle and I had a mutual friend just from being out in the nightlife in New York, and when he had asked me about being on the show, I had just come out of a 3-year relationship, and I thought, well, what the hell? Why not? Let's do something different, Usually I spend my summers in Minnesota, but I figured, why not just have a great experience? And
You meant to say Minnesota.
yeah, Minnesota.
And this isn't too spoilery because I think it hints at it in the trailer, but both of you also kind of your love lives get intertwined with the house as well. Was it hard to kind of let your guard down, to kind of let yourself, do that on camera, and just talking about your approach to that?
So being a new person in a new place, I definitely let myself loose this summer. Definitely had a few suitors, so you guys will definitely get to see some of that.
I love the term suiters. How
Very
classy.
fancy.
She's classy.
That's educated.
Like very
Is that
bad.
like a Gen X, Gen Y term?
It's actually
I
a
don't know
millennial
about.
term.
You wouldn't get it.
It's a generational gap.
Luke, what about for you?
Yeah, I mean, what's the question again? I'm sorry.
I mean, there's some hints
I
of
got lost at suit.
flirtations.
She's
between you
very
and
good
Hannah.
looking,
You're sitting
but-
next to each other. Was it hard to kind of let your guard down in that way?
Not really, man. I went into it with an open mind. I went into it more like I just want to enjoy my summer and make friends. And I feel like when it was all said and done, I walked away with a great group of friends, and I had a great experience. So letting my guard down, because I went into it with an open mind, I didn't care. Yeah.
Amanda and Kyle, I think your relationship is obviously sort of one of the central parts of the show, and I think it has been for 4 years. And you guys got engaged at the end of last season, which was really exciting, I think, for everyone to watch and kind of watch you guys overcome so many hurdles. But does it ever get tiring to put your relationship out there to be fodder for everyone else to kind of pick apart?
Exhausting. I'm not one to typically even talk about my relationship or myself, and it's just something that comes natural, I guess, in the house. It is exhausting to, put yourself out there, the highs and the lows, and just get all these opinions and unsolicited advice back, and just everyone's input on our wonderful, perfect relationship.
We love having that input, but Kyle, I know you especially love getting that input.
I love constructive criticism. I even take criticism. No, I'm just kidding. I hate it. I think what's also just keep in mind there's some downtime between when we our summer
Right.
that's filmed and when it airs. So we got engaged Labor Day weekend of 2018. That was a long time ago. So some of what we're dealing with on the show obviously happened in the past, and there's a little bit of a Band-Aid effect where particularly when your relationship is front and center, it's bound to be scrutinized. And so that I think is what really compounds the exhaustion.
But does watching any of this stuff back, though, kind of actually help your relationship? Does it ever? Because I mean, it puts a microscope on it in a way that a lot of people don't get in their relationships, and it must kind of show you what some of your behavior is like, and
Occasionally it helps. Sometimes Kyle still thinks he's right after watching it, and I'm just like, see, you were wrong. And he's
I'm like,
no,
no.
I'm still
Usually
right.
it's like-
you double down on it.
My God.
Usually I'm right, but then I'm like, I overreacted.
You have your
But-
go-to apologies.
Yeah. No, we often have 3 fights and it requires 3 apologies. It's like, it's like when it happens, when we're talking about it on camera, and then when we watch it. So in that sense, it's therapeutic. And yeah, trust me, I have moments where I'm like, yep, kind of off the deep end on that one. But, I guess it's a pretty surreal experience that I think does add to our relationship. It's not just all exhaustion.
And I think a lot of fans are curious. Wedding update. I know that it's sort of a kind of a point this season, but where do we plan on wedding planning, or where do we stand on wedding planning? What's the status there?
You will see kind of our process or lack thereof over the summer of, and the stressors of wedding planning. We do have a date though.
Which is
So
Requires a venue, so we have a venue.
yeah, so we have a venue and a
Congratulations.
date.
Thank you.
And that will
One small step
Well,
for mankind.
maybe you'll find out.
wow, tease.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, you kind of see how easily provoked I was I know you've seen the first episode. I think that was like months of planning and work. We actually had, put a deposit down on a venue, and then it fell through, and we were so, frustrated that we basically went like a month and a half to 2 months of just recuperating, and then boom, we're in the summer where it's way more challenging to go see venues. So yeah, it was just like it was this process that we kind of were like forced back to square one, and then talk about it.
Timing wasn't great for that. Carl and Lindsay. I mean, we
What's up?
What do you want to know, Gibson?
What do you want to know, Gibson?
I mean, you guys have been friends for years now, and so I think it's simultaneously surprising to see what goes on between you guys, and also kind of not. I think because you guys do have such a fun rapport, and you always had. Talk to me about sort of like kind of crossing the line, as you say in the first episode, together, and also having input from everyone else on that, and what everyone's reactions were to you guys getting a little romantic.
Yeah, so
I'll let you handle that one. How to post.
Carl and I started getting, a lot closer a couple of summers ago. And I mean, even in season 3, you can see like just the closeness forming. And then, even off season, we just were hanging out all the time. And come spring, I went through a breakup, he went through a breakup, and it was the first time that we were single at the same time since we've known each other. And, I think when that happens and we're so close, and it just is this natural progression into like, maybe there could be something here. We don't know, but like the only way you can really find out is by exploring. Whether that was the smartest decision or not, we don't know.
Well, it definitely put a toll on our friendship, and I think also for the house too. I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I think a lot of the crew here was definitely like, what the hell are they doing? What's going on? How bad is this going to blow up in their face?
So we'll see it all play out.
You'll see how it plays out, but I think
summer.
Luckily we're in a good place right now, and she's very happy. I think it's something you don't really know till you try, but I love Lindsay, and we had a really good summer. It just a little bit of hiccups here and there.
I just say be prepared for some fan scrutiny.
And we would like throughout the spring and beginning of the summer before we started filming season 4. I mean, we were hanging out all the time when we would clearly post pictures of things, and the amount of comments and the amount of like exterior people going, "Why don't you date her? What's going on?"
Right.
You definitely feel it a little bit.
Yeah, it was almost like people were pushing us in that direction to the point where we were like, should we?
Yeah, they say date your best friend.
Everyone seems to want
it's hard not to just sort of like give in.
Why not?
And, yeah,
give it a try.
Yeah.
Something that Hannah, you mentioned earlier, and again we get into it in the premiere, is sort of like the generational divide, as I think Carl deems it.
Generation gap.
Or the generational gap. Is that something that is like going to play out throughout the rest of the season? Because we kind of have the 3 OGs, and then we have you guys who are younger than them. Is that a distinct dynamic in the house that has established itself? And does it kind of create?
I think we were
younger
just
people
drunk
cooler.
and coming up with excuses for Kyle's behavior, to be honest. I think there's no generational gap. I don't think we're that far in age. I mean, they're married, and I mean, they're going to get married. And
Oh, breaking news.
sorry, they're not married yet. But I think the generational gap is something that people will say just to be like, oh, we didn't get along, when realistically, like, Kyle's the first to say, like, stay young forever. Like, we all want to be young and have fun.
Benjamin Button's my idol.
Yeah. And I really think that if we were that different, the house wouldn't function.
Right.
And that I think all of us are mature in different ways, and like we all, like, I never am like, oh my God, Kyle's too mature to hang out with. Like the generation is too big.
No one has ever said that.
So I think that it's used, and it kind of annoys me because like I love everyone for different reasons, and some of us are weaker in certain areas than others.
That was a really good answer, Hannah.
Yeah,
was a
that
good answer.
was.
I feel like
Sorry,
well
I
done,
feel strongly
well
about it because
I
I
do
feel
agree.
close to you guys.
I just think that it was maybe more apparent, the age gap situation in season 3, but
Right.
this summer, this season, I don't think it's, as much present as it was.
You guys
in
have
the
formed
season.
those bonds to kind of break that down, whether that existed or not.
Yeah.
Something that has come along with being on Summer House is obviously you guys all have something else going on outside the show that, we have Loverboy for Amanda, Carl, and Kyle. Paige, you just had a clothing collaboration. Hannah, you have a podcast. Lindsay, you have a PR agency. Talk to me about sort of just using this platform to kind of grow those side projects, and sort of do you find that Summer House fans support you in those endeavors and kind of help grow them as well?
Yeah, I was going to just chime in. I mean, when Kyle and I first were even talking about season 1, I mean, the whole idea of Summer House was like a group of friends that work hard, play hard, and that's what instantly attracted me to want to do something. But it's also, if you look at the other shows, Real Housewives, and a lot of these women have incredible companies or businesses. So that was the first conversation Kyle and I had, was like, it's not just getting drunk and having sex, even though that's what we want to do.
That's the premise.
But
Not what we do
I think
anyway.
it's a platform. It's something bigger than just what you see on TV. There's a way to leverage the brand.
And I think people really want to support brands and products and services where there's a story, like there's a backstory, there's like that authenticity that a big strategic conglomerate of a company can never provide. They can't even buy that, right? So with Loverboy, for example, it was like this opportunity was like staring us in our face. Like, we want tasty, low sugar drinks because we're trying to keep our summer body in shape. And I was like kind of underwhelmed by the market. I'm like, why not try to basically show the making of the brand, not the band, like on the show? So that, it was in that regard, it was a perfect fit because we do consume a lot of alcohol.
I think Bravo fans are the best.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they are so passionate and they see our lives and they feel so close to us. And I think with me, I knew I was going to be on the show, and I'm like, there's so much more that I want to say about like who I am, and also if I'm going to get the exposure, I want to be able to talk about what matters. Like, I love comedy, I love mental health, and I think bringing people on a podcast where there are already eyes on, ears, then you can learn about like what makes people tick and what keeps them up at night. So Burning in Hell has been fun for me, and then doing comedy, now I've been doing stand-up, and the reason the seats are being filled is because of Summer House and people who want to know more about you. And I think like when you drink Loverboy, you go to a comedy show, we're creating a family from this incredible experience we all have.
And I actually just think it's really important for our viewers to see that we're not these privileged kids who, grew up with all this money. We actually work really, really hard. And every single person on this stage, we hustle. We're in New York. We make our own money. And because of that, we're able to play on the weekends. And, I know it gets frustrating for some of us to hear comments, from certain people that say like, oh, you guys are just, privileged and like you were given everything in life. No, actually, a lot of us have been working since we were 14, and I love that Bravo is able to show that with us, and I think that's part of what makes our show so unique.
Well said.
Yeah, New York City will eat you up and spit you out if you don't work.
And going off that, you said the Bravo fans are the best. A lot of you were at BravoCon last fall. And,
Unbelievable
And I was
event.
at the first event that you guys had, and it was just crazy with the reaction from people. And
People were
you guys were rock stars. It was, have you ever?
I
felt
think
like
it
that
was
before?
like a really humbling experience. We knew that we had fans and people who love our show, but to have them all in one place at the same time.
From Australia, like literally, I was like, what?
Yeah, and like people being like, I'm the one that messages you all the time on Instagram, and it's just like, it's nice to like actually like meet people in
Put a face to
person.
the name.
Yeah, because we're all just normal people, so it's easy to like have conversation, and it was just really nice to meet everyone.
People were like yelling our names. I was like, me?
Right.
Like, you want-
Do I know you? Have I met you before?
I'm like, you want to talk to me?
I
I'm like,
think it
why?
felt. I think it felt like if you were like in a boy band or a girl band. There was like people. Like there were people crying and screaming our names.
Oh,
Which is-
I
probably
wanted to
one of the
crowd surf.
wildest.
I remember jumping down into the crowd to give you a hug, and like all of a sudden I was hugging 1 million people, and it was just like, yes, I love this. I want to stay down here.
Yeah,
It was really well run. Like
it really was. No,
hats
I
off
mean,
the Bravo,
first
because it was just
ever,
like to provide that experience and still keep it intimate. Like, I was just like, this is incredible.
And we're like fans of Bravo. So like we would
yeah.
see people and I would be like, oh my
I
God.
was
Oh my God, Lou
fangirling.
Angela
right
Sets.
there. Yeah.
We were selling Loverboy next to
Man.
Luann.
Oh, yeah, at the Bravo
Countess.
Bazaar.
You got to get
shopping
your
center.
Luann candle.
Before we turn to the audience, I think also there's two other people that are involved in the show who are kind of friendo, I would say, Jordan and Danielle, who were on last season. Talk to me about their involvement this season, and sort of also how you guys sort of approach the evolving nature of who makes up the house each year.
Let me just start. Like, I think one thing to keep in mind: every house from one summer to the
Every
next
share
often
house.
changes, right? Like, and sometimes you meet your best friends that started as a friend of a friend, and so our show, sure, there's like cash shakeups, but a lot of it has to do with our friendships and how they evolve. And so the beauty of our show is that, like, it is our summer. We like to have fun, and we want to have fun with quality people. So yeah, there's some changes every year. With that said, we get introduced through friends of friends to awesome people. So you guys can chime in, but I just kind of wanted to like remind people that our house is just like any house out
It's a
east.
real life shift that happens. Totally. And you guys all feel the same way about that kind of dynamic.
Yeah.
I think it's good to have some new people. Obviously, Luke and Jules brought a lot to the table, but it's also fun to see. I mean, Danielle has a pretty crazy job. She's really busy, but when she can come and hang out with us, she's welcome with open arms. We love her around. Jordan's obviously has a lot of things going on in his life, so I think it's good for the show to have people kind of popping up here and there.
Totally.
These people guessing.
I think we have 2 audience questions. First one right here.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. How you
So
doing?
hey. So we talked about obviously you guys have a lot going on in your careers, but you do have a lot of fun on the weekend. So I just became a business owner. So I'm wondering.
Congrats.
Thank you. To Lindsay, Kyle, all of you guys. How do you separate business from pleasure without feeling guilty about it?
That's a good question.
Good question.
You cry in the pantry.
I mean, part of I'd been working on startups since I graduated business school, 2011, and I was working on a startup during season 1 and season 2, and there was a distinct separation, and that was challenging because, spending your summer out east is pretty time consuming. I kind of lucked out with this, just this sparkling hard tea kind of just staring me in the face. I love hard tea. I love hard seltzer. I'm like, let's mix work and play. But I mean, I don't know how other people want to weigh in. It's a struggle though. I mean, now that I live with Amanda, she's like, wait, he doesn't separate.
Well, and Amanda was able to go. I don't want to speak for you, but you were able to go. You went into an office every day for the first 3 seasons or 4. So I don't know how she did it. I certainly got fired 3 times. So I don't know how to balance.
I freelance, and so what I realize is that if I work hard nonstop, then I'm just going to burn myself out. So that playtime is really important for you.
Yeah, I think our generation and their generation too. We're bridging.
Thank you.
We're bridging. But our personal and our career has been mixed in a way that's never been done before. Where my Instagram and my podcast and my comedy are all part of who I am. So as Jules said, I have to tell myself sometimes, because the second I wake up and check my phone, I'm working. You have to put the phone down sometimes and just deal with people in your life, because then you won't have content or inspiration for what your job actually is.
I also think you just need to work hard and then find the time to play a little hard, have some fun. I don't know. That's what I do with my stuff. I work hard. I go in the shop. I'm spread real thin, but I always make sure I have time for myself. You got to I don't know. You have to.
Well, I
make
think
time for yourself.
we get a lot of our emotions out on the weekends. As you guys
hold it
will
all
see.
in.
Pent up energy.
So when we come back, to the city Monday through Friday, we can actually focus on
We're like a
work.
shell of a human being on Monday.
You can tell who had a rough week when they walk in the house. You're like, oh God, I'm going to avoid eye contact with them.
It's normally Kyle.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
One
you.
more question.
Good luck with your business.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
I was wondering
Hi.
if y'all grew up watching reality TV and if y'all expected ever in your future that you would be on a show like
Great
now.
question.
I went to Syracuse University, and one year they had real world auditions, and Kenny Santucci was on that season. He lives in New York, kind of popular on Instagram. I had never thought in a million years, but I actually tried to be on Real World and didn't get selected.
I'm so sorry.
But yeah, I never really watched any reality. Honestly, I didn't really, other than knowing what a Real Housewife was, I never watched it. So
My
Still don't really
blood
watch it.
type is reality TV. I
You and me
live and
both.
die by every single reality TV show. But I never thought I would be on one. I actually was like, no, I'm not doing that. That's insane. And then 2 weeks before, I was like, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, I love reality TV, watching the OC. I remember in middle school being like, what is this show? And being hooked. I mean, Kyle can attest. I
you mean
watched
Laguna Beach? He was scripted.
Real Housewives. OC.
I was like, that's scripted,
Boys,
yo.
sit down. You don't know what you're
Yes,
talking
we're
about.
talking
I knew
Bravo
what you
here,
meant. I knew what you
people.
Sorry.
Thank you. Anyway, yeah, so I watch every TV show. I love all reality TV, but thanks to Kyle, I am now here, and it's never, ever, ever where I thought it would be.
you're in
Sometimes
too
I'm like,
deep.
why did I do this? Kyle, that's why.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't really watch a lot of reality TV growing up, and I never thought I would be on a reality show. I'd studied acting for years, and I knew that a few years back, if you were to do reality TV, it would kind of kill your acting career. And now it's funny because you can do both, and one, they kind of just complement each other. It's like, I feel like the luckiest guy in the world right now. Yeah.
Yeah, reality TV had a different perspective. Like Jersey Shore was scary.
Oh yeah,
it was scary.
It was like career. It was like you're ending your
Career
career
suicide.
Yeah,
But it was.
I don't know. They're all millionaires. So
I mean, they're doing great. I mean, yeah, like I
for some-
was telling my parents, I'm like, Kim Kardashian, Cardi B, Hannah Burner, hello. Like, I need to start doing reality
At
TV.
this point, enough people have been on reality TV for it to kind of just be, part of the deal.
Yeah, but I originally did not want. I never thought, because like I hate confrontation, and I hate confrontation. So why would I go on a reality TV show? And then I learned it's kind of fun when you say how
Lindsay.
you feel.
Again, you're welcome, Hannah.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here. And everyone watching, be sure to tune into the Summer House Season 4 premiere tomorrow, Wednesday, February 5th at 9 p.m. on Bravo. Thanks for
Hump
watching.
day.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.